Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of Builders Talk. I can't believe I've done 15 episodes. When I first started this, I was very nervous and still do become nervous, but getting better every time I bring an episode to you. But today I'm going to expand on last week's episode, which was about having defined roles within your business. In particular, I spoke about the builders as the visionary and them needing an integrator to put, the builder's vision onto paper as such. I spoke about Michael Jordan needing a who, and builders need to start to embrace the concept of the who in order to achieve more. There's going to be lots of who's mentioned today, so I might get a bit tongue-tied. But builders typically do things alone, and I would never doubt a builder's commitment to get the job done, as they will go it alone or if all else fails. The problem with going it alone is that your goals stay small. So is this stopping you from succeeding at your highest level by going it alone? Michael Jordan, to succeed at his highest level, recognized he needed the right who's in his life. So who do you need in your business, and how do you go about finding the right who's? So our whole lives, we are taught to focus on how do we do things ourselves. We're never really taught to use who's to help us to achieve what we have to do. We're given, say, assignments at school, and we're encouraged to work alone. We could never, collaborate, because then that would be called cheating, and no one wants to be known as a cheater. So on Sunday, on Mother's Day, I had my mum and dad over for dinner, and my daughter had an interesting conversation. She was talking about when she gets a job, she would pay someone to do the things that she didn't want to do, like the cooking, the cleaning, the washing. And she explained that she could work more hours then and make more money, or have time to do what she wants with her life rather than spending hours doing the cooking, the cleaning, or the washing. Now, this concept seems very foreign to not only my mum and dad, but of many of the older generation, and this includes most of us. So my daughter understood the concept of who's, even though she probably can't afford to pay for a who at the moment. She's not making enough money, but she already has the grasp of the concept, and it is one of her goals. So the concept of the who is that in order to achieve more, you will need to ask yourself a better question. So instead of asking yourself, how do I do X, or how can I achieve Y, it needs to be rephrased to who can do X, or who can help me achieve Y. In my daughter's situation, her goal was to have more time or to earn more money. So she was asking herself, who can help me make more money, or who can help me get my time back? How would her income change if she could buy back her time? I explained to mum and dad that if she earned $50 an hour and could pay a cleaner $25 an hour, then she had an additional $25. Or she had time to spend with her family, and that to her might be worth more than the $25 to pay the cleaner. The concept does seem so simple, but we do not embrace it. In the building industry, we do embrace the concept in relation to building the homes. You know your unique ability, your superpower, and that is that you can build. And a lot of clients choose to build with you, because of your talents. This is why clients come in and ask to talk to the builder. Some clients want to work with you because of what you can do. And to them, we are their who's. So on site, you do use who's. The plumber is your who for plumbing. The electrician is your who for electrical work. So I think you're getting the gist of, using a who when you're on site. So these who's, the plumber, the electrician, have been trained as a specialist to work in one particular area. They're not a jack of all trades. So you get the best for that specialty work you need done. But when it comes to the business side of building, this concept is typically neglected. If we do look for a who for the business side, we typically look for a jack of all trades. And the prevailing wisdom when we are looking for a team member is to hire on attitude, someone that will fit in with your team, and then you can train them on how you want them to work. And although this is a good way of thinking, I am challenging you to think differently. So on site, you hire the specialists, such as a plumber, electrician, a tiler. So you need to bring this type of thinking into your office. If I hire on attitude and I then have to train someone to do the tasks I want them to do, but I'm not the most talented at the role, this is not my superpower, are you already setting yourself up to potentially fail and not reach your goals as quickly because you're teaching them what you know, not necessarily knowing what that specialist knows? Sorry. So this, I guess, aha came to me when my husband said to me, you hired, let's say, Joe to do that. Hi, Amber. How you going? So Joe has a degree in project management. And he said to me, but why are you showing her what to do? He said, she should know how to do that. But I still argued with him and I said, but she doesn't know how I want it done. And then it hit me. This isn't my superpower. I had employed Joe to keep our building schedules on track, to push the jobs forward, to improve our systems and processes. And I'd made a rod for my own back as Joe was always waiting for instructions from me because I had not given her the permission to just work freely and in her zone of genius or her superpower. So instead of letting Joe do the job she had studied for years for, I was limiting her, and also I was limiting my own business from getting the results I'd employed her for. So I learned that you need to pick the best. Pick the best that you can find for who you need. Then you don't need to spend hours and hours training them on how you want it to be done, as they already know how to do that thing. So Joe just needed clarification and a clear, defined vision of what I wanted her to achieve. So I needed to tell her what the project was that I wanted her to do, what I wanted her to achieve in that project, the importance of that project, what the outcome that I wanted from that project, and what I didn't want the outcome to be. So she knew what, I guess, failure would have looked like to me, and what success would look like for that project when it was completed. So once Joe had this clear vision, I could leave her to do what I employed her for, which is run the schedules, and she could run them how she wanted to, as long as she got the results I had clearly defined for that project. I would just become the trusted advisor rather than her teacher. So this is how it works on site. The builders give the plumber, a clearly defined vision. He gets a set of plans. He gets to know the outcome of the project. You know, you want him to complete the plumbing for a 2-bathroom home with a butler's pantry, laundry, and a separate powder room. You supply him with the list of tapware, sinks, etc., so that he is clear on what needs to be fitted off for that project. Then you leave him to complete the project. You become the advisor and the overseer of the project, freeing up your time to then be able to achieve more and make more money. So we often get stuck in this loop of thinking we have to do all the things. We have to teach everyone. Everyone starts depending on your input, your approval. And because you've started to, in effect, micromanage those people, they're not confident enough to do the things that they know best and the way that they've been, potentially in this role of Joe, project managing, had been at university for years to study the methods to best project manage and get the best outcome from projects. So if you want to have a company that is capable of running itself, you need the right who's, the ones that don't need to be managed by you. And the best way to achieve this is by getting the people that have the right superpowers for the results that you're trying to achieve. You just need to give them ownership and create a clear vision, and then let them execute in the way that they know how. I recently saw someone post in a Facebook group asking if anyone had, when looking for an employee, used a method where they asked the applicant to submit a video and was asking if anyone had done this successfully. Now, this is just my opinion, and maybe you'll get someone with an attitude to submit a video, but does that attitude they're looking for come with the skill that they actually require? So there are a lot of smart people that prefer to be behind the camera. They don't want to be in front of the camera. And you could be missing the potential to have those people work for you that are probably the better skilled people that will get you better results, because you've basically, I guess, cut off a whole heap of applicants that don't want to get on a camera and, do a song and dance and say, this is me, pick me. You're missing that opportunity. So another way that's often taught when you're looking for the right who's is you look for applicants that have answered a certain set of questions. I call them fluffy questions. So that would be questions like, who do you most aspire to be like and why? What are your values? And then from those applicants, you pick the ones that align with your values. Again, you could be missing the best applicants. I spoke last week about the world being made up of different personalities. So there's soldiers, there's carers, there's workers. So aligning an applicant's values with yours doesn't necessarily bring a different way of thinking into your business. You're in effect stifling your potential growth because you end up with a lot of, I guess you could say, yes men, because those people are the same as you. They do have your same values. They do have the same potential morals. They do have the same beliefs. But is that really pushing the boundaries of improving your business, or are you just going to get the people that will agree on what you want to agree? So you're not necessarily bringing in a different mindset or a different set of skills because you're picking people that are like you. And I do agree that there is certain type of values, but that you might want to align with, but just because someone, say for instance, believes in, is it Catholic, and you don't believe in a religion, you don't just discount that person because they don't have the same values or belief that you do. So working in today's worldwide economy and the online world has presented us with opportunities that we've never had access to before. We can pick specialists to work in our business, and you don't have to have a jack of all trades and a master of none. You can find people virtually that have the skills that like the skill sets you're after, and it doesn't matter about their attitude or values. It just matters about the results. Give them a clear vision and set of instructions, and as long as they produce the results, it doesn't matter how they achieve them. So I used to have a virtual assistant that helped me with the detailed plans that we use for our clients' homes. So she would do things like the window schedules, the bathroom and kitchen elevations. She would do 3D so the clients could visualize their homes. And the only contact I had with her was I sent her an email with the plan, like I'd drawn the floor plans and elevations. So I sent those to her. I gave her a list of what I wanted her to produce for me, and I would email that all to her. And by the close of business, as long as I did that by the close of business one day, by the next morning, they were in my inbox as she was in a reverse time zone from me. So in effect, I had increased my speed to achieve my goals as I had someone in effect on the job 24/7. So she worked independent of me. I was not sitting here looking over her shoulder, watching and critiquing her work. I wasn't slowing her down. She cost me less than having someone in my office. I didn't need space for her. I didn't need to pay her for a computer or the relevant programs. I would only pay her for when I needed her. So I didn't have to pay for her when I didn't really have work. If she wasn't getting me the results, I could get another who. I didn't have to go through the whole employment rules and, warnings that they weren't doing their jobs properly and trying to get rid of that person that wasn't giving me the results and paying them along the way. She was my who for the time-consuming detailed plans. And this gave me the ability to work on my superpower And that was designing the homes and not having to worry about the fiddly bits. I could move on to the next home design, giving me the ability to turn the projects over quicker to keep our pipeline of work on track. So start by asking yourself a better question. Who can do this for me? Or how can I achieve this quicker? Who can, for example, get my bookwork done quicker? Who can help me get my business goals quicker? So you need to just start asking yourself a better question and challenge yourself to think a bit differently and, I guess, move into the 21st century of the online world and the world economy that you can tap into to find the specialists that do the individual bits and pieces, rather than having potentially, an office manager that you're trying to make fit into or mold into all the things that you want them to be. And they don't necessarily have superpowers in all those areas. So they might, favor doing, not dealing with the customers, or like they prefer to not call someone, they'll email them because they don't like the confrontation. Are you getting the best from those people because they're not necessarily employed on that skill that you need them to have? So yes, you might need someone as a face of your business to be in your office or to answer the phones, but there are other avenues to outsource work to people that will get it done quicker, get you a result. It's based on a result, as long as you clearly define what you're wanting from them. So last week I spoke about the campaign She Who Builds the Business, which recognises women in the industry that help run our small businesses. So on Monday, yesterday, I started to highlight these women. So I'm asking you again this week to nominate your wife, your girlfriend or partner to be recognised as someone who makes an impact in your business and your clients' lives. So I want to shine a light on as many as possible. I do have a post up on my Builders Talk page where you can nominate someone. You don't have to be nominated by a builder. If you know anyone or any women in your life that works in a building business, you can nominate them as well. So make sure you nominate, and as usual, keep powering your business, and I will see you next week.